everyone, this is my Serger Overlocker. I noticed that I was having problems with the thread breaking, and so I wanted to open it up and have a look inside to see what was wrong, to figure it out, but I couldn't find a good online disassembly manual or any timing fix-it manuals for this particular model online, so I ended up figuring it out myself, and I thought I'd make this video so that if you have the same problem you can try and fix it yourself. So the first thing is to make sure that your machine is off and unplugged. This one. And then I'm going to show you how to open up the chassis. The first thing is to remove this panel here. So in order to do that, you need to undo some screws here in the front, and there's one on the side here. And the tricky part, which I'm going to show you, is that there's two screws actually holding the case from the inside here. So you have to remove this part that has the light bulb in it and take the light bulb holder out and then access the screws from the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. So now this front section is fairly loose, except for over here where it's still tethered. So actually this is going to be easier if I remove the thread holder, so I'm just going to do that. There's a screw at the back here to take this off. You can see that there are two screws here and here that are holding the light bulb holder in, so you have to remove these first to remove the light bulb holder, and then behind this there are two more screws on the inside here. So you can move the foot pressure dial around out of the way to remove the light bulb casing, and then if you can see inside here, there's two more screws here that need to be removed, this one and this one. Now that I've removed all the screws for the front panel, it can be easily removed. So just pull the thread through. So this is what the inside of your Serger looks like. So in here there's a shaft that has all the cams on it that drive the looper shafts, and obviously it's connected to the manual hand wheel so that when you rotate it, all the loopers operate in correct timing to produce the stitches. So the problem that I was having was that the upper looper, which is this contraption here that contains the green thread, was brushing against the needle as it was trying to make the stitch, and so this was causing the blue thread to break. The way to see if the timing for the upper looper is correct is to bring the upper looper down and aligned with the lower looper. So the lower looper is this guy here with the red thread in it. So if you go forwards and align them, if you get the upper and the lower looper aligned, you should see that there's a very tiny gap between them, just in here. And so the head of the lower looper should be about 1 millimeter away from the tip of the upper looper. So here's a picture to help explain that, what you're seeing. So the way to correct for this, or correct to make sure that it's this way, is to get the upper and the lower perfectly aligned front to back. So you can see the upper looper is like hidden behind the lower looper. And when it's like that, you want to look on the top to make sure that that little gap is there. And if it's not, or if it's too big, which is the problem that I was having before, then you can change the timing of the upper looper. So in order to adjust the upper looper timing, you need to loosen the set screws on this shaft collar just here. So there's two set screws, you can see one of them there, and the other one is just above there. So I'm not going to do this now because I've spent quite a bit of time playing with it to try and get it correct, so I don't want to mess up the work that I've done. But you undo these two set screws to make the shaft collar loose, and then you align your upper and lower loopers, how I said before, over here. And when they're aligned and this is loose, you can adjust the position of the upper looper shaft here by pushing or pulling on this hinge here to adjust the position of this shaft up or down to make that gap over between the upper and lower loopers 1 millimeter and not any more or any less. If it's less than that, then they'll catch on each other as you make the stitches, and you can really break something that way, so you want to make sure that that's not happening before you switch your machine back on. But if there's too much gap, like the problem that I had, then you can break the thread while making stitches. So once you've made that adjustment there for the timing, you can also make an adjustment up here on the looper. So to adjust the position of the looper head, you can adjust this set screw behind here. If you loosen it, then on the Singer Serger, the looper will move in this direction, like front to back, it will tilt. In other models or other brands, I noticed that they move this way, so you can just take a pair of pliers to it. But on mine, it will tilt this way, so you can adjust that with the set screw behind here. And that will also help you to get the right clearance between the upper and lower loopers, and also between the upper looper and your needle. Now that I'm confident that the timing is correct, I can go ahead and make some stitches. So I would manually make some stitches, and then we can put the machine together and put some fabric in, rethread the machine, and try it out on some fabric. Now I've got to fit the light bulb holder back in past the pressure foot pressure dial. So this takes a little bit of maneuvering. So now it's in there. And the most difficult part of this reassembly is to get these two screws back in here behind the dial. So there's two plates. There's the other side of this, the light bulb holder, and then there's a pressure foot pressure plate that holds it into place, and neither of those are threaded, but the thing behind it is what's threaded. So you have to align those three holes up with the screw. So the easiest way to do this is try and get some light in from behind the plates, and then look straight through and line up the holes before you put the screw in. Okay, so now I've got all the screws in back here, and I can put this part of the case back on. Rethread the machine. So now that the machine is threaded with the cover back on, I can chain off to make sure that everything is threaded correctly. You should always do this before you start sewing to make sure that there are no problems. So you can see I'm getting a nice chain. So I'm pretty confident that everything is fine, and I'm going to turn on the machine with the cover closed. Okay, so now that I've re-threaded the machine and chained off, I have been testing the stitching to make sure that it's correct, and everything looks fine. So you can see the green stitching is the upper looper that we fixed, and it looks fine. Thanks for listening. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section and I'll try to address them.